Bonjour mes amis et bienvenue au Pendu dans un Cercle de Lune. Hello friends. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that this is my series in which I use Cercle de Marseille adjacent, and antique Italian decks to help me unpack the central message from the spread I record earlier in the week. So, friends, this week I have recorded a monstrosity, a massive spread, and I've challenged myself to putting two very different tarot systems together, the Thoth system and the continental system together, to see if I could read them together, to see if they were simpatico, if they could converse with each other. And it's a really huge spread, and it's a in-depth and intense reading, and I highly recommend you go and watch that first and then come back and watch this. And remember, you don't have to watch any of these videos in one chunk. You can read them and you can watch them in bits. I read them in bits. You can watch them in bits. But I highly recommend doing that because you'll want to get the basis for why I'm reading these cards in the way I'm reading them. The foundation for this week's spread comes from the previous one, from my mashup of the two systems. So I'll put a card up here for you to click on and hop on over, watch that video if you have not seen it yet, and then come back here. Okay? Now, just in case you have seen that video, and it was a large video, let me just give you a couple of refresher points, right? The video, I think I called it Embrace Change. And we started off in the center in the ether section because that is a 5-element spread. Ether, fire, water, air, and earth. And so we read each of the elements, the cards in each of those elements together. But the central message comes from ether, from the divine, telling us to embrace change and to be ready to move forward, to let the past go, to let go of what has been, and move forward with our directed passions, our directed desires, our directed libido. And we had ideas about working with other people. We had ideas about enjoying those successes that we've had, enjoying the good feelings that we have, but not getting attached to them, allowing ourselves to move past because, and allowing them to disappear, because if we get attached to them, that is going to be problematic. Allowing ourselves to release negative thoughts was important as we move through and embrace the change, right? So, I have a spread already laid out for us. What I will do now is I will show you the spread. I'll talk about it very briefly, and then we'll break it down into the two major sections and read those sections together. Are you all ready? Here we go. So friends, what do you think of those decks? Now, if you are a regular visitor, you probably have already seen these decks. The Oracle deck at the bottom, the Cercle de Lune, is available. I'll have a link in the description box below. You can go get it from France. The book you can get from other countries as well. But the deck I recommend ordering from France. They ship internationally. It's a wonderful deck, and it is astrologically based, and it works beautifully. It's a wood block print deck, and it works beautifully with wood block print Cercle de Marseille decks. Just saying. So I highly recommend that deck. Link in the description box below. The tarot deck you saw above, I've done a walkthrough with, and I've also used previously. This is the Joseph Jäger deck, which was redrawn and recreated by Artisan Tarot. A beautiful, beautiful workshop for restorations and recreations of Cercle de Marseille and other decks. And so there will be a link to this deck. It's the new one in their catalog, and it's just fabulous. I love it. So, friends, those are the two decks. Now, What I'm going to do is first we'll read the 3 tarot cards together, and then we'll come back and look at the oracle cards and read those together. So let me show you the 3 tarot cards once more right now. Here they are. Friends, you just saw from left to right, we have the 5 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Ace of Swords. So we have the Wheel of Fortune in the center and 2 active suits on the sides of it, yeah? Fire and air. 5 of Swords, 5 of Wands, Ace of Swords. Very interesting. Now we have no figures that are actually looking right or left, so line of sight does not make any difference. So I'm going to read this set of 3 cards from left to right. So we'll start off with the beautiful 5 of Wands. Isn't that lovely? So what is the 5 of Wands? The 5 of Wands is playfulness. Yeah? It's the ability to get out and experiment and be creative. It's new desires. From the stability of the 4, we break out into something new. We want to play. We want to experiment. Yeah? We have the energy to go beyond what we know, which is interesting and important considering that's the strong main message I think we got from the central 2 cards of the earlier spread, from the ether section of the earlier spread, about Sagittarius, that his focused desire to move forward is strongly indicated in this card. We evolve towards unexpected depths or larger dimensions, but we've got to be careful because we had the caution of too much largeness can cause us to lose focus. We want to maintain focus as we move into the new. So we have the power. We have the power to break into the new, to break into experimentation and creativity, to play. And wonderful for embracing change, right? And that playfulness, that ability and desire to move out into the new is strongly emphasized in this Wheel of Fortune card, right? Which gives us, there's cycles of moving from the old to the new cycle, to the new cycle, to the new cycle, right? Luck and change are indicated in the Wheel of Fortune. Repetition, sure, but also change. Also, fate is indicated here in providence, but I think the most important thing is starting a new cycle, change, having some luck in addition. A cycle has ended, and we've come to a new departure. It's the rise after the fall. And some of the fall was indicated in the earlier spread this week. And here we're rising as we play, as we experiment, as we feel that fire of the new passion. And we adapt. And adaptation is indicated this week as well. And so we move from there into what? We've discovered a new fire, a new passion, creativity. We're experimenting. We're feeling change. We're moving from an old into a new cycle. We're taking a new departure. And as we do all of that, we get what? We get the Ace of Swords, which is what? It's a mental breakthrough. New clarity, new ideas. We get inspiration here. Inspiration is often, for me, paired with the wands in other tarot systems, but for the Tarot de Marseille, inspiration is here in the swords. We have great intellectual potential, and mental capacity is large, but new and fresh. Our intellect moves into action, and we got some of that in the earlier spread for this week, yeah? We want to bring our thoughts into manifestation, and that's also indicated here. Intelligence and determination and discernment bring our new ideas and our breakthrough perspectives into action and into manifestation. Which seems like a really clear central message from this week's larger spread if read in that way. Do you see that? I hope you do. If you do, let me know in the comments below. If you think it's does not make sense, if you think you would read these cards in a different way, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So friends, we've got 3 more cards. We got 3 more cards from an oracle deck. Let me show you those cards and we'll talk about them together. Okay? So friends, here they are. Now you saw from left to right, we had card number 33 with the 2 swords, not the 2 of swords, the 2 swords. And they look like swords that are dueling, right? Then we had the blue card. Yes, that is actually a card. It's not the back of the deck. The deck backs look like this. The card backs look like this. That was called the blue card, and it was created by the original creator of the deck, Belin. Now, Belin is, by the way, not the real name of the creator. The real name of the creator is something else. Belin was his magical name. So, the blue card. And then we have the birds, card number 12. Now, don't worry, this is not Hitchcock's birds. This is a good bird, a different and good birds. But we'll start off with the two swords. The 2 swords. And we can see that the astrology associated here is Mars. And Mars was an important planet from this week's larger reading. The side title is Procès, which means trial, like a court trial, or the trial of, like Hercules had 12 trials, right? That kind of a trial, something you have to get through. Now the swords are symbols of power, the power of destruction and the power of justice. So they can go either way. They are 2-edged swords. Also, the swords of peace, justice and peace, or destruction. So the 2 calls for balance. Balance of thoughts, balance of expression. The card for Belin indicates the need to find compromise or overcome an adversary. Considering this week's reading, I think we want to move in the direction of finding compromise, because we were advised not to jump blithely into battle in the larger spread of this week. Yeah? That we might have a tendency to enjoy arguments, and we don't want to get into an argument just because we enjoy it. We want to avoid arguments. Choose your battles. Yeah, so this card, I think, indicates that. Yeah, we have the need to compromise, to work well with others. That was also another very strong piece of advice, to work well with other people. Now, the secondary astrology here is Jupiter, which is what? Order. It's justice. It's a balance, creating social equity. It's authority for good of people. Not the authority to control people, not the authority for oppressing the people, but authority for the good of the people. And if there is a positive card near this card, that card will show us how to resolve it. And this card, I think, is going to show us how to resolve it. Why? Because the very next card is the blue card, which is the blue of the ethereal world. It's also the blue of transitions. It's the door to the other side. So this is the door to get from that period of trial to something else. The period of needing to find compromise to something else. And it's a positive influence, and it gives healing. And it moves us with positive influences, with healing, into the birds, which is the moon, associated with the moon, which is not such a great thing, actually, in this deck. There's an inconsistency to the moon in a lot of the cards in this deck. The side title is Depart, which means departure. The birds here link heaven and earth, because they can live on the earth and they fly up into the heavens. And the number 10, there are 10 birds here, which reminds us of the Wheel of Fortune. Number 10, right? It also is an indication of new cycles, rebirth, a new direction. So that's the direction we're moving in, from the trial into new birth, a new cycle. And it could be our departure or the departure of another, but considering all the reading we've done this week, it really does seem like it's our departure. And it doesn't have to be a physical departure, even though we were recommended, perhaps if we have the opportunity to go on a physical pilgrimage, it can be very strongly our personal mental journey, our departure from the old, leaving the past behind into the new. And the secondary astrology here is Mercury. So the movement to the moon's emotions, it adds movement to the moon's emotions here. It can give us the desire to travel or to express our feelings. Mercury is the expressor, right? The talker, the communicator. We want to express our feelings. The movement here is explorative and beneficial. So we move from trial, we move from the desire to perhaps overcome adversaries or the need to find compromise into what? Into a new departure, into exploration, Five of Wands, exploration, but a beneficial explorative journey, a personal journey of our own growth into perhaps the Ace of Swords, where we find that breakthrough idea, the new clarity, the new ideas, the inspiration. Does that make sense? I think it does. I think this all works well, beautifully together into one powerful message. If you agree, let me know in the comments below. If you think of something different, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And friends, I'd like to thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video, for hitting the thumbs up button, for subscribing. You are a blessing to the channel and to other people who are looking for this channel. Thank you for all of those things. And if you want a reading from me, my email address is below. Shoot me an email to thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com and we'll get you a reading. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.